Hello, welcome along. Hope you guys are doing well. We are back for another video in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and the first in a new series on the channel of epic approaches. And what better way to kick things off than with one of the all-time great approaches into Skiathos in Greece. We are currently flying the final circuit of hold above Skiathos, which is there it is down there, which is the next island across from Skiathos. So let's hop inside the flight deck and get things started. So first things first then, let's have a look at the charts and get the approach briefed for you guys. So let's just get our charts on screen, there we go. And as you can see, going to fly one circuit of the hold at Skiathos before heading out on a course of 203 degrees before making a final right turn onto our inbound course of 008 degrees, where at 1600 feet we'll disengage the autopilot and hand fly our approach onto runway 01. So to our missed approach then, climb on 008 degrees to 2,500 feet, then turn right max 185 knots to VOR, climbing to 4,000 feet and hold. Okay, so that's our approach briefed, so let's now exit our hold. So if we come down to the FMC and we hit the exit hold button, followed by exec, and there we go, we've got the exit armed message, so that's all good. And if we take a look outside, we can see Skiathos coming into view in front of us, and if I just zoom in, there's the airfield there. So that's visual on the runway for our approach. And let's just get our legs page open so we can have our waypoints on screen to guide us into the runway. And let's dial in our final altitude of 1600 feet, which is our minimums. In fact, let's put 1000 feet in. I'm going to be descending using VNAV, so let's just make sure that we get down to where we need to be. We're just making our final left turn to exit the hold now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wind some speed back. Let's go back to 220 knots. We've just overshot that turn a little bit, so I just want to reduce the energy in the plane. Oof, crikey. It's a good job I'm wearing my aviators, I can't see a bloody thing. And let's just hop outside the plane to have a look at the island in all its glory. There it is. Looking fantastic. And let's just have a closer look at the runway. You can see it there on the right hand side of the screen. And I do have the Orbex Skiathos scenery installed, which is really nice. They've sort of remodeled the entire island, with buildings and all that kind of thing, so really recommend this one. And also it runs nice and smoothly on the Xbox, so all's good. And let's wind a bit more speed back. Let's go to our up speed, about 211 knots. Actually, what I need to do is add my fixed rings of 5 miles and 10 miles from the airfield, just so it gives me that visual reference. I like to, as a rule of thumb, I like to be at flaps 10 miles from the airfield, and then when I cross the 5 mile marker I like to be gear down flaps 15, and that tends to work quite nicely for me. So let's add the 3-letter identifier for Skiathos, which is SKC, and add our fixed ring at 5 miles and also one at 10 miles. There we go. Let's clear that recall. And let's keep our heading bug aligned as well. Let's bring that round to 202 degrees. And let's go flaps 1 and bug the speed to 190 knots. And let's go flaps 5 and speed bug 170. And we're just starting our final right turn now, so let's have a little look outside. Now let's just see if we can keep a visual on the island. It should be coming into view shortly, just above the aircraft. There it is. It is looking absolutely lovely, isn't it? Typical Greek weather, not a cloud in the sky. Right, so you can see we're at our 10-mile fix ring now, so let's go flaps 10 as we discussed. And as we complete the final turn, I will go gear down and flaps 15 once we're on our final inbound course of 008 degrees. Okay, so that's 2,500 feet, so let's go gear down and flaps 15. And we'll bug the speed to 160 knots. And we have visual on the runway in front of us now. So let's go flaps 25 and speed 150. And let's go flaps 30, and our final approach reference are 140 knots, plus 5 knots wind correction, so 145. And our final stage of flaps, flaps 40. And we have our auto brake set to 3, gear down 3 green, and seatbelt signs are on. Let's give the cabin crew a quick bong. Okay. And we will shortly be reaching our minimums of 1,600 feet, where I will disengage the auto thrust and autopilot and hand fly the final approach.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
And there we go, auto thrust off and autopilot disengaged, and I have manual control. And as you can see, the approach track for the runway is slightly offset, so that's quite common with a visual approach like this. So I'll just need to slowly turn in left so we can sort of make our approach square on with the end of the runway. And all the time trying to keep it as slow and smooth as we can, just maintaining that 3-degree glide slope using the flight directors there. And we're going to get quite a nice view of Skiathos Old Town and the harbour as we approach there on the left-hand side. We just want to maintain that approach speed as well, so just tweaking the throttles as necessary. It really is a spectacular approach, isn't it, coming into Skiathos? Really great fun. Anyone who's tried it knows it's quite a challenging one, and you're either going to get wet at one end of the runway or the other. So yeah, always a bit of jeopardy with it as well.
500.
Yeah, I just overshot the turn slightly, so I'm just going to do a little bit of a correction there. And all the time trying to maintain that 3-degree glide slope. Okay, this is it. Wish me luck.
$100, $50, $30, $20,
And idle throttles and flare. Come on, get down, get down. Ooh, that's a bit of a float, to be fair. That's virgin on a go round, but we're okay. Now full reversers, hugging the centre line, and auto brake's doing a really good job of stopping us there. Reverse idle and manual brakes. And welcome to a gorgeous Skiathos, guys. Flaps retracted and speed brake off. Just going to need to make a 180-degree turn here and backtrack along the runway to our parking stand. And let's just give it some beans to complete the turn. And I think what I'm going to do is just speed the time up whilst we taxi along the runway, and I'll catch up with you again on our parking stand. Okay, so here we are on stand 2A, just following our ground crew in, and there we go. Parking brakes set, and engines shut down. And there we go, that concludes our first Epic Approaches video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you've got any suggestions for approaches for me to try, please leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the Skiathos approach, give it a like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.